are the days where every movie around had some kind of terabad tie-in video game. You know the ones, where you spend half your time fighting through bugs, playing the same dull mission over and over again, listening to the actors dying inside, while trying to figure out who this is supposed to be. Perseus in Clash of the Titans, if you were wondering. We miss those halcyon days, and we think there are some movies that are crying out for a video game. But don't worry, we've thought this through. No janky adaptations here, thank you. Here's 7 films that would make truly awesome games.
Starting with one of the most insane but great movies that we think would make equally insane but great video games, Crank. The premise of Crank is that British hitman Chev Chelios has been poisoned and his heart will stop beating unless his adrenaline keeps flowing constantly, which he does by increasingly ridiculous means, including being shocked by defibrillators, getting into fights, and standing upright on a police motorcycle with his ass in the breeze. But this kind of ludicrous scenario is something that would be perfect in an eclectic open-world sandbox game similar to Sunset Overdrive, Crackdown, or even the controversial Postal games. Imagine playing through a dense virtual city with a series of objectives and missions, but all the while having to manage your adrenaline levels to keep yourself alive. Drive like a maniac to get hype, start fights in the street to get that blood flowing, rob hospitals and pharmacies of epinephrine, jump off buildings and out of planes before parachuting to the ground. You could take so many things that make games like this exciting, and instead of having the risk of dying in game, you'd be doing it to keep your heart ticking. The idea of taking the classic action sandbox game and turning it way up to 11 might just be stupid enough to work.
In the right hands, Kung Fu Hustle could be turned into a brilliant fighting game, and Capcom should be the developers to do it. Stephen Chow's film is what you get if you mix the slapstick of Looney Tunes with the stunning action of Chinese wuxia movies. It focuses on a ragtag bunch of martial artists that have over-the-top superhuman abilities, a natural fit for a 2D fighting game made by Capcom. While the movie has a funny and heartfelt story about a downtrodden anti-hero trying to find his place in the world, like this guy,
I need to know as well for what lies ahead.
Kung Fu Hustle would work better as a flashy, fast-paced fighting game, like this one. It's the movie's cast of colourful characters that are the real stars, and their absolutely insane abilities will be perfect for the hyperactive gameplay style of Marvel vs. Capcom. Each character has a distinct story, visual identity, and most importantly, fighting style. There's a lecherous old landlord that also happens to be a master of Tai Chi, the staff-wielding baker, and this insane old toad man that can stop bullets with his fingers. There'd be a nice mix of up-close powerhouses, light-footed assassins, and projectile specialists, all of which can leap hundreds of feet into the air and air dash around like Roadrunner. Kung Fu Hustle would give Capcom the material it needs to make a technical one-on-one fighter in the style of Street Fighter, but with the bold, brash, and super kinetic style of Marvel vs. Capcom. I'd also take Shaolin Soccer in the style of Mario Strikers Charged, but you can't have everything.
Six, seven.
'14's Oscar-winning drumming drama Whiplash might not be the first movie you think would make a great game, but hear me out, because I have had ideas. Imagine a rhythm action game where you play the drums, obviously, and your end goal is to become core drummer in Fletcher's prestigious studio band and perform at the JVC Jazz Festival. I'm thinking that it plays out similarly to Parappa the Rapper.
Kick, punch, it's all in the mind.
You've got the band around you playing various jazz tunes and you respond to button prompts to add your drum parts. But the crucial difference is that instead of having nice teachers like Chop Chop Master Onion supporting and riffing with you, you get J.K. Simmons foaming at the mouth, screaming at you that it's not quite his tempo.
Not quite my tempo. It's all good. No worries. Here we go.
Bonus points if you manage to avoid any of the slaps or chairs that he decides to throw your way. Instead of the game telling you that you rap in good or cool or bad or awful, there's only 3 grades. You're on the beat, you're dragging, or you're rushing. There could even be some kind of mini-game where you aggressively break up with your girlfriend, who watches as you tap your way through one awful dialogue choice after the other, displaying nothing but callous insensitivity.
It's alright though, she goes on to become Supergirl.
There was a time in video game history where you could virtually manage pretty much anything. You've played SimCity, Theme Hospital, Space Colony, but have you ever been put in charge of an extravagant, world-famous hotel set in between two world wars? No, I didn't think so. Get some of the old devs from Bullfrog and Maxis, sit them down with Wes Anderson, and let's get started on the best simulation game ever, darling. Cast your mind back to the days of Theme Park, Theme Hospital, and the slew of other similar games. Building your location, filling it with visitors and equipment, and even solving crises. And if you're old enough to remember those games, then you're old enough to have seen the Grand Budapest Hotel. Picture slowly building up the extravagant hotel from humble beginnings to its grand pink majesty. Ensuring your guests are satisfied with the services of the eccentric hotel, kept fed with cakes from the Mendel Bakery, and serviced with plenty of sponge baths. Random events like snowstorms or pastry shortages can add some variety to the gameplay, as well as scripted events like the First World War that the hotel survived through can become larger challenges for the player to work through. And while you're managing the hotel, earning experience, new items, and growing the Grand Budapest Hotel, you can move your way up from humble lobby boy to romantic concierge.
When it comes to giving people the heebie-jeebies, few movies are as revered as The Shining, which is why it'd make for a great first-person survival horror game. The Shining's secluded hotel setting, spooky supernatural happenings, and themes of losing grip on sanity make it well suited for an experience in the same vein as Amnesia: The Dark Descent. And the ideal candidate to make a video game adaptation of the Kubrick classic is Frictional Games, the team behind Amnesia and a whole bunch of other games that have made gamers far and wide paint their pants brown. Frictional's environmental storytelling chops could create an interesting new angle on the story, allowing the player to slowly unravel the mysteries of the Overlook Hotel. Similar to Amnesia's sanity mechanic, things could get stranger as time goes by, and as Jack gets crazier. Set pieces like the ball scene could represent milestones in his descent into madness, and like the use of light in Amnesia, alcohol could be used in a risk-reward system. Knocking back bourbons with Lloyd and the ghostly gang may help Jack regain some fleeting control, but it could also loosen his grip on reality in the long run, making the weird stuff even weirder.
Here's Johnny!
Of course, it'd all culminate in a full-blown meltdown where we get to see the worst that the hotel has hiding in its dark corners. It could even have sequences taking place from the perspective of Danny, Jack's son, which would let Frictional use visions like that bloody elevator, or these creepy-ass twins. Alternatively, how about a hack-and-slash horror game? Think Snake's Nightmare from Metal Gear Solid 3, except with Shelley Duvall, and a knife.
While there's been Dread games before, and judging by actor Carl Urban's cryptic tweezing, there may be another on the way, it's practically criminal that director Pete Travis's interpretation of the law hasn't been in any video games yet.
What's also criminal is that the 2012 movie doesn't have a sequel yet, but that's another impassioned plea for another time.
So in my head, a Dread game is a third-person cover shooter with a gritty aesthetic similar to Gears of War. But instead of fighting locusts, you take on thugs and drug dealers in the Peach Tree's tower block. Rookie Cassandra comes along with you, but crucially, this ain't no escort mission. She acts as an AI companion similar to Elizabeth from Bioshock Infinite. She gives you support and uses her psychic abilities to warn you about any enemies skulking around. Mama, the drug lord atop Peach Trees, has flooded the block with an addictive drug called slow-mo that reduces users' perception of time, which would be perfect for some Max Payne-esque bullet time sequences.
Basically, I just want more of that Dread, and I'd happily spend 10 years in the ISO cubes playing that game.
Edge of Tomorrow, Live, Die, Repeat, whatever you want to call the sci-fi movie about using your deaths to become a better warrior, just get From Software on the video game version ASAP. In the world of Edge of Tomorrow, humanity is getting the snot kicked out of them by an alien race, and Tom Cruise's character Bill Cage is dragged into combat and shortly thereafter killed. Swap the sci-fi setting with dragons in an Age of Fire, and you've got the respawn system from Dark Souls. Every time you die in Dark Souls, you're expected to learn something. A trap, an enemy location, a moveset, something to let you live that little bit longer, and progress a little bit more into the next run-through. Edge of Tomorrow does pretty much that. Every time Bill Cage dies, he learns a little more, gets a little more training, memorizes where he's going to be attacked from until it's second nature. In my mind, the game would have to start brutally hard, dying again and again, chipping away and growing so slowly until you gather up some semblance of confidence until the game snatches it away and crushes you all over again. A formula that's frustrated many, but has been proven to work. Prepare to die, and live, and repeat.
So there's our picks for movies that would actually make awesome games. If you've got any ideas, make sure to stick them in the comments below. I'll gather the best ones, put a pitch document together, send it to some devs, and, while we wait for the inevitable rejection, why don't you check out some more videos just like this one here at GameSpot. Make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.